Now, this month, events are being held across the world to mark the countdown, a movement designed to push for action in tackling the climate crisis. Hong Kong is no exception. Several events are being held to explore how individual actions can help in this fight. Joining me in the studio now to discuss this is one of the organisers and the founder of Encompass Hong Kong, Benita Chick. Benita, great to have you with us. Now, this countdown event in Hong Kong is zoning in on climate action. What action can we expect to be discussed here? What new ideas can we expect from this event?
So we have 10 speakers for the TEDxEncompass Hong Kong program. We have Mr. Lam Chiu-ying, which will speak on imagining Hong Kong without coal, so like a decarbonized economy. We also have Mark, who will speak on climate change and pandemic. We have very young speaker, Kamachi. She's a young climate activist, more about climate justice and why she stepped on this path. And we also cover plastic. We have Dr. Joanne Yang, who will speak about microplastic, and Defana, which is a founder of Invisible Bag, to talk about plastic alternative solutions. So I think there will be many ideas being discussed and hopefully asking people to make changes in their daily life. Yeah.
And this is part of a global campaign, right? But sort of what local issues do you think Hong Kong can bring to this? What can your event bring for residents in Hong Kong?
As you said, Countdown is a global movement. There are 5 themes: energy, transport, food, and all that nature. For my TEDx is really about individual changes. So each speaker, one of the take-home messages is what they can do. So I think, for example, Mr. Lam will speak about reducing footprint, and some of the speakers will speak about how to reduce plastic or reusing. One of the speakers talk about upcycling woods, for example, woods that were fell because of the mega typhoon in Hong Kong. So I think the issues discussed is local, but also pertinent to global. And we are expecting a wide audience. We have, so far from the sign-ups, we have people across the world, from Australia, from UK, who will be joining us on October 18th.
And you mentioned recycling plastics there, as we just heard from Megan Revel reporting. During the pandemic, this is becoming a huge issue. This event is taking place within a pandemic. How can we expect that to sort of, what ideas or sort of solutions do you think could be put forward in this event?
I think right now, as you said, we are facing the pandemic, and after the pandemic, I think the biggest crisis is climate change. And I hope through, like Mark's talk, the relationship between climate change and pandemic, people will get idea how they can change their daily life. Really, there are other TEDx events in Hong Kong, but I think us is really focused on individual action. So I will mention, so far there will be TEDx Civic Exchange. We will be more government focused. TEDx Teen Hall, there will be another focus. But we are trying to have a bilingual event, and for both local residents and English-speaking audience to mobilize them to do more.
And you've been working with businesses, with individuals over the years now for climate change, among other issues. How much has the pandemic, do you think, changed the discourse around climate change? How different is this fight, I suppose, this global fight going to be either during the pandemic but also after the pandemic?
From my experience, I think both the corporates and community, they are more concerned about climate change more than ever. I think with the pandemic, people have more time to reflect. And as you said, because of the increasing plastic use, the disposable plastic, people are more aware. For example, for me, I know certain coffee shop doesn't allow you to bring a tumbler now because of hygiene reason. So even though they serve in a paper cup, I'll try to put it in my own tumbler, and just reminding myself what every day I can do, because I think this is going to be the biggest crisis to be faced by humanity. Climate change is going to be affecting all of us.
So going back to the guest list then that we have for this event, or you have for this event, how did you come about sort of organising which speakers you were going to have and which voices you were going to have as part of this event?
If you look at our 10 speakers, they are really from across background. There's some in academia, some are young activists, some are more social entrepreneur, some are former government officials. So we really want different angle on it, and both our our event will be divided into both Cantonese and English section, hopefully attracting a wide audience. So I'm really excited about our speaker list. I think some of the speakers, for example, Mr. Lam Chiu Ying, as a former director of Hong Kong Observatory, he's very well respected in the community and very popular. And I think people will listen to him and of course other speaker and get ideas on how we can do this fight.
And you also have someone from a group called Re-Viu, sort of play on words for clean up and to pick up stuff. Can you tell us more about that as well?
Yeah, so that's Ren from Re-Viu. So Re-Viu has been around, I think, for 9 years, and is basically a second-hand platform, whether it's clothes or different goods. And she has this platform to encourage reusing clothes. And I think in Hong Kong, actually for me, it really struck me that Hong Kong, we are not very responsible in our production and consumption. And if you look at the SDG goal, the Sustainable Development Goal, out of the 17, number 12, SDG, responsible consumption and responsible production and consumption, is the worst across APEC. And I think really Ren's platform is for people to have the platform of reusing and exchanging stuff. I think it's still not really a popular idea in Hong Kong and can be promoted. I know places like in UK, there's like library where you can put like vacuum cleaner or CD player and people just exchange. I think it's really reducing what we buy and reusing what or sharing as much as we can. That's the way forward.
Okay, Benita Chick, thanks so much for joining us this week and best of luck with the event as well.